Hello and welcome back to the tribe. How are you doing, my borderless tribe members? We are already in April. Happy new month. This is my first video in the month of April, so quarter one is over. Yes, January, February, March in 2024 are done. How did you do? What was your result? What did you win in? What did you succeed in? Have you taken stock of the past quarter? Have you set the goals for quarter two? What is your plan? As the saying goes, if you fail to plan, then you have planned to fail. So you do not necessarily plan for failure, but failure will happen in the event that you do not plan for the future, right? So it's very important that you still take the time. Quarter two has just started. Today is the 5th of April. Take the time to sit back and reflect on what you achieved in the past quarter and what your plan is for quarter two. So that's April, May, and June, the next 3 months. Okay, so let's jump into the video that we have for today, shall we? Today we're going to be talking about the 1%. What makes the difference? The one tiny percent that makes the difference. Okay, so let me paint a scenario for you. If somebody tells you that, okay, I'm going to increase your salary by 1% every month, your first thought would probably be, I don't understand, as in after working for 30 days, or even say a year, maybe. So let's stretch it a bit. But let's take a month. I think that would be a better scenario. After every month, I will increase your salary by 1%. Your first thought would be, what? Only 1%? 1% of my salary won't take me anywhere. With what inflation is saying, with what the cost is saying, that wouldn't make any difference in my life. And you probably won't take the option, right? Because you feel it doesn't make any difference. How would you compete with what is in the market and you look for another job? However, what if I told you that there was one place where 1% counts and 1% makes all the difference, right? What if there was one way that 1% was valuable? Every time, if you would just make a 1% difference, 1% change in your attitudes, in your habits, in your self-improvement, in your self-development every day, that 1% will compound to become 37%. I'm sure you may have seen this graph before. It's a graph in the book by James Clear. I think it's a book that says 1% better every day. So by the time you are 1% better every day, doing something to improve yourself every day, what you would arrive at by the end of the year, which is 365 days or 366 days in the case of 2024, which is a leap year, is that you find that you are about 37 times better than you started. Now, it's very easy at the beginning to look at it and feel like it does not make a difference. So what difference does it make? Oh, it's a little bit of chocolate today, it's a little bit of extra sleep or oversleeping, because enough sleep is very important for you. It's a little bit of partying or not taking care of how much money I'm spending, not being mindful. It's just a very little difference. So in the beginning, it might not look like there's any difference at all. So if you stay on that same path, you can either just be on a flat level or you find that you're getting worse every day. But if you're making that one change every day, then you see that by the end of the year, you are 37 times better than how you started. Let me tell you a quick story concerning this getting better every day. You know, every time people say, I want to live my best life, I wish I could do this, I wish I could be that, I wish I see this person, no, they're so this, they're so that, and we all desire. I had an experience with my son recently. We were in the kitchen cooking together, and I think it's kind of like me in that area. He said something, he said, oh, I wonder what I'm going to be in the future, I wanted this, and so he was really quite anxious, right? He was saying, I want to know what I'm going to be, what if I'm not going to actually be this, what if and he just went on, and I turned to him and I said to him, I said, everything you're already doing, keep doing it. I said, the future comes one day at a time. And he turned to me and he said, Mommy, the future comes 1 second at a time. I said, oh, so you know. So what am I trying to say? In the future coming 1 second or 1 minute, 1 minute or 1 second or 1 day at a time is the fact that every second and every minute and every hour of every day, you are making decisions. You're making decisions of what to put in your mouth. You're making decisions of whether to read or not to read, to study or not to study. You're making decisions to work out, to do whatever it is. You're making decisions of how you look or the impression that you give. You're making decisions on how to maybe that professional development cost, whatever it is that you're making a decision on, right? So every day, one little step towards the future that you desire really counts. Okay, so why should you go the 1% route? Now, one of the things that I have come to realize is that the 1% never seems attractive. You remember I told you in the beginning that when you start out, it will look like nothing is happening. That's one of the reasons that people don't like the idea of the 1%. It always looks like nothing is happening in my life. I don't look like, okay, I went to the gym today, I spent 20 minutes. I came back, throughout today I've eaten only fruits, vegetables, made sure I ate all the right things. Nothing is happening. My weight is not changing, it's the same thing. But the truth is, where would you be at the end of 365 days, right? Where would you be? So you need to keep adding that thing. Why should you go the 1% route? Why shouldn't you just jump from 0 to 100, right? Some people look for the fastest and the sharpest way. Am I going to inject something into my body? Am I going to do a surgery? Now, honestly, to be quite honest, if you need to do a surgery, go ahead and do it. Health reasons, whatever. I have nothing against that. But in the case whereby you're healthy and strong and you can go by the natural route and do the necessary things and build the discipline that you need to build, I would highly suggest that you do that. So, how to change location very quickly. So let's go back to it. As I was saying, many people expect that when you want to make changes in your life that it happens really quickly, and I'm sure many of us will be glad, very happy if you could sleep one night and wake up wealthy, or sleep one night and wake up healthy, or sleep one night and you have the job of your dreams, or whatever it is, right? We want things very quickly, happening as fast or at the speed of light. But the truth is, no matter what you see looking like, oh, and suddenly the guy just blew up, right? There was something that led to the blowing up. Okay, so let's look at why you should go the 1% route rather than the leaping from one point to another. The first reason is you gain discipline in other areas of your life. So the discipline that you have to apply in, say, maybe weight loss, or in, say, building wealth, you find that over time you learn that discipline and it spreads to other areas of your life. So if you're disciplined about what you eat, very soon you'll be more disciplined with your money. You'll be more disciplined with maybe waking up early, with going to work on time. There's certain disciplines that come into your life just because you have started it in one area. So that 1% spreads out. So you can see that it's even an accumulation of more than just the 1% in your health. It goes as far as 1% in your marriage. It could go as far as 1% in your family with your children. It can go on to 1% in your money, in everything that you do, right? So the discipline that you build by going the 1% route spreads to other areas of your life. The second thing is that you can rebuild if need be. You can rebuild because you already know the process. So we know that there are so many people who, me for instance, taking myself as an example, we have tried maybe losing weight before, or doing something before, or you have even built wealth before and something happens and you go bankrupt. But you see that because you already know what the steps are, because you already know the process, you can do it again. You know what it took you to get there. However, if you have taken a magic process to do certain things, then you cannot replicate that process to get to where you used to be. So if you have taken certain steps, you can sit down and say, okay, I'm going to start again. This was what got me here, so I can still get back to where I used to be. It's not that difficult. Okay. Number 3 is that you have a firm foundation and support for the lifestyle that you've built. You have a firm foundation and the support. So what do I mean? If you get to the top doing certain things, for you to stay at the top, you must continue to do those things. If you stop, you come down, right? So when you get to the top, there is a process to staying on top and keep on moving. But if it is something that you appeared at the top one day, you don't know what the ladder that gets people here looks like. If you automatically crash one day and you don't even know the steps, like I said earlier, to get back there. But if you have built the momentum and you get to that peak, you know what got you there. You know to keep doing those things. You have the systems in place. You have the support in place. You stay at the top. Number 4 is it compounds and it is easy to stick to. So if it is a case that you have done the sharp method, sometimes the sharp method is very costly and you may not be able to continue, right? So we have, I'm sorry, but weight loss keeps coming as the easiest thing to my mind. So we have some people who may have done whatever method or whatever it is that you did to get you to where you are. What if something happens and you're not able to purchase the item or whatever it is that helped you get there? something can happen, and maybe it is something that you cannot stick to. You cannot, let's even say it's a fad diet. You did one extreme diet, right? And you slim down, and then the next thing, by the time you're off the diet, the cravings come back. And when the cravings are back, you binge, and then you're back to where you used to be, right? So it is not easy to stick to. But if you go through the slow and the steady progress, and that you're changing out things and you're putting back in things that are good for your health, things that are good for you, things that are good for your body, so you're just swapping things gradually, that it's easier, it's more likely that you will stick to those new things, or you stick to the new lifestyle even better than if you had jumped right from 0 to 100. Finally, the leaps may have consequences and backfire. So the biggest example that came to my mind was, let's say you win a lottery. It is beautiful. If I apply for a lottery and I win right now, I'll be so happy. But let us say you apply for a lottery and you win, and you don't know the first thing about building wealth. What happens? That is the case every day. All the money goes and you're back to square one, right? So there can be consequences when you take huge leaps. Just like I said earlier, if it's a fad diet or something you did, if you don't know the process to keeping you at the top, you will crash from that top and you will come back to level 0, right? Okay, let's talk about the barriers to the 1% everyday growth, right? What are the things that make people not want to go the 1% route, that make them want the I want it now sharp. Number one is the blow and hammer syndrome. So if you are not Nigerian, blow and hammer simply means get rich quick or die trying. Get rich, okay, maybe not get rich or die trying, but get rich quick schemes, like sharp. I want it now. I want to flick, at the flick of my hand, there's $1 million in my account. At the flick of my other hand, there's whatever it is, this car, this, that. So what if that doesn't happen? If it is the blow and the hammer syndrome, these are things, the blow and the hammer syndrome is something that can stop us from achieving our goals, because we just want it right immediately, everything happening immediately. The second one is starting late. And when I thought about this point, my mind went back to parents. The truth is, we have a role as parents to play in setting our children up for the future, in the way we raise them, in the way that we teach them. It's more or less like God prepared it right ahead, that He has given you 2 people who have seen ahead, 1 or 2 people. And in some cases, some people even have more than 1 or 2 people, in the sense that you may have other aunties, uncles, or people that have gone ahead of you, mentors, coaches, and all of that. So He has given you people that have seen life ahead, many years ahead of you. They have certain experiences so that they are able to help channel you. They may not always get it exactly. They may make their own mistakes. They have shortcomings. But as parents, one of the things that we can help our children do is to create a foundation for them to take off from. So as parents, we need to begin to look into preparing our children better for the future, preparing them financially, health-wise. What do we feed them? These are things that are important, so that you don't have a child that is struggling with their weight later, or struggling with building wealth or managing wealth later. So this is very important. So this is where parents come in, so that your child doesn't get to their 20s, 30s and is regretting or starting afresh to build, right? So let's give them that advantage, so they don't get to a point where they're wanting it sharp because they feel like everybody has gone ahead of them. So starting late can be one of the barriers to taking the 1% growth process. The third thing is FOMO, social media, fear of missing out. When you look on social media and everybody's life has started and it looks like your own is where it has always been, right? That is another thing that can make people close their eyes, jump, take a leap, and probably get into a lot of trouble. So what am I going to say to you for that? Stop looking at other people's lives. Turn it off. And then look inwards, look into your own life. Paint the picture of where you want to go and design the steps that will get you there. Okay? Stop looking. Yes, and focus on your own life. All right, so number 4 is feelings of stagnancy or not seeing results. Feelings of stagnancy, not seeing results. So what do I mean by that? You set goals, you're moving with your goals, and then when you do a review, just like I talked about Q1 review, you do a review and it feels to you like you did not make any progress. It can be so discouraging. The same thing happens even when you're working on your weight, for instance. You can get to a point where it seems like everything plateaus, right? So at that point in time, it's time for you to learn something new. What else can you try? So don't give up yet. Don't feel like it's not working. Please let me just Find out what don't I know, what else can I do that is right, that is safe, that is still good for me. In my case, for instance, one of the things I started learning about was fasting, and I found out that there was a whole range of resources by a certain Dr. Mindy Pelz, and she is amazing. Her videos are so awesome on fasting, and I started watching and learning, and it was as if I was stuck somewhere, but all of a sudden the scales started moving again. So learn something new. What is the new thing that I can add that can move me from this level and get me the results that I want to see? So remember, in getting better every day, in improving yourself, the best way to go is to get 1% better every day. Sometimes we're looking for a new strategy, we're looking for a magic wand that will be waved. Leave it, that's not what you need. What you're already doing, if you're already on the right track, if it is working, then just find out, okay, my consistency will make this work even better. Stick with what already works, right? Stick with what already works. So we're doing a recap now. What does your 1% look like? Your 1% looks like a 10-minute walk every day. Your 1% looks like a 15 minutes of reading or studying every day, 30 minutes of exercise every day. Your 1% looks like drinking more water every day, a little more water every day. Your 1% looks like, eating a bit more fruits and vegetables instead of junk. Your 1% also looks like meditating, writing for 10 minutes. It is the little things that add up. You don't need a massive change in one day or in a few days for you to see the remarkable difference. You add up those 1%, and like I said, over time these habits build. Over time, if you look at my previous video, over time you become the kind of person who lives like this, who does this. It is good for your mind, it is good for your body, it is good for your spirit, it is good for everything about you. And this becomes the natural way that you live, getting better every day. So until my next video, take care and remember to make sure that you're making that change one step at a time. I'll see you later.